I look at my consultations like a financial analysis. Let's look at everything. It's not about me, it's about the client. What do you want out of this experience? What kind of home is going to check all the boxes for you as either a first-time buyer, a family looking to move into their second home, an older couple looking to downsize who might still need a mortgage? Not everyone can pay cash. I want to solve the problem of home ownership and make sure that people feel seen, heard, taken care of.
Welcome to People at Pyramid, a weekly podcast that introduces you to your fellow Pyramid Club members. My name is Vince Quinn, the Content Studio Director, and I'm here to showcase the stories of your fellow members, explore the ways that they can help you and your network, and make it easy for you to connect. With that, let's meet our next member.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason Madden, Senior Loan Officer with Guild Mortgage here in the greater Philadelphia area.
And I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you so
much. Talk to me day to day with that title and responsibility. What do you do?
I like to help people buy houses. I like to help people achieve their dream of home ownership.
Yeah, and how long have you been doing that for?
Since 2014.
2014, amazing. So, I can't imagine the number of deals you've done, people you meet. It's so interesting because it's such a personal decision.
Yeah.
I think that's always what I come back to. It's like everybody, this is a landmark event of somebody's life. If I remember, it's literally a part of the board game of life. That is like a have to do benchmark. So it's so important. So for that kind of work, then what are the typical kinds of people that you work with day to day?
I love working with first-time buyers. Someone who, appreciates getting the education on the process, someone who wants to understand what it actually means to buy a house. I don't look at it just as a transaction. I look at it as building a relationship. Maybe these are people that will want to own multiple properties. Maybe they want to get into investment. I look at myself as a teacher and an educator at heart. So if I can break this down and really allow someone to understand what goes into how to buy the home and kind of get them excited about it, for me, it makes settlement so much more fun. I look at it as like a little party. We're celebrating this major accomplishment. There's only so many massive purchases someone's going to make in their lifetime, and a home is one of the biggest.
Yeah. So I love that education aspect of it. What does that look like? Take me through it. I'm a first-time buyer. I'm walking with you through this process. Educate me. What kind of things am I learning along the way?
Sure. You're learning what goes into our decision to underwrite that loan, and assess the risk that a bank would have to take for you. So we're looking at your employment, your income, your assets, your credit. It's a huge financial deep dive. And what we're looking at is saying, hey, how much money can you safely borrow to be able to have that mortgage? I like to walk people through really the stepping stone of, because there's ratios in our business, right? We look at credit score, we look at your housing ratio, which is your monthly payment over your gross income. We look at what we call a back-end ratio, it's your total debt, right? So we include your student loans, your car payments, credit card minimums, and we look at that over your gross income. Guidelines tell us we can go up to 50% of your income, but that might not be what's best for the client. Maybe they want to buy 2 or 3 properties over the next 5 or 6 years. If someone loves their job and they're comfortable with their income and their lifestyle and their debts are manageable, right, you can kind of create the picture where in 3 years, your financial situation might not be that different. So why would I want to strap you at half of your income on a home just because you can afford it on paper? It might not be what's best for you if you tell me in a consultation, I want to have a short property or I want to have a property in the Poconos. All right, cool. Let's build. I kind of act like a financial advisor a little bit, which I had spent some time doing. We talk about that or not.
Yeah.
I look at my consultations like a financial analysis. Let's look at everything. And it's not about me, it's about the client. Like, what do you want out of this experience? What kind of home is going to check all the boxes for you as either a first-time buyer, a family looking to move into their second home and raise their family there, an older couple looking to downsize who might still need a mortgage. Not everyone can pay cash in retirement. So what do these options look like? I want to solve the problem of home ownership and make sure that people feel seen, heard, taken care of, and understood.
Yeah. So for people who are just beginning then to understand this and they want to get a feel for financing and how it works, like how do they begin this process? What are some of the things that they should know or start considering?
Credit, and especially in today's world, right?
Yeah.
Managing your credit is probably the number one thing that we can do, right? Making sure that you have a good credit score, making sure that if you have credit cards, you're at least paying the minimum on time and in full. A big tip I always give people, as I say, credit utilization is important. We don't want that to be above 30%. So I would rather you have, if you need to carry some debt for a little bit, say you have a card with a $10,000, line, don't carry more than a $3,000 limit. But if you need to do that, get 2 or 3 cards, 1,500 here, 1,500 here, 1,500 here. Those 3 cards at a lower utilization is going to be better than you having a $25,000 card and a $20,000 balance on it, right? That's going to lower your credit score. Interest rates, which are super important, everyone talks about it. It's what we see in the news all the time. That interest rate is going to be based on a lot of factors. One of the biggest is your credit score, as well as the down payment.
Having that history as a financial planner, I mean, how it must have been a pretty smooth transition then to make this kind of leap.
Back and forth, right? So the timeline history, 9-10 years doing lending, went over to try to build a financial planning practice for a little over a year locally here. Great team over at Northwestern Mutual, Center City. They're fantastic. I felt the pull to come back into mortgages. It was my wheelhouse. The agents that I worked with wanted me to come back into the business. I missed that feeling of going to the closing and celebrating with my clients. And with the interest rate market kind of starting to shift back into what we feel is going to be a lower, more, try to find the right word, favorable, right, rate environment for the people that have been on the fence to get off it, for the people that, did buy above 7%, those refi opportunities are here and continuing to come. I just felt that desire to go back and serve my clientele and be able to get back into that wheelhouse.
The passion's evident, I'll say. I mean, it's just, you like the genuine nature of actually caring about who these people are and the weight of that decision and supporting them through. Like it really comes through. It's very cool.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it because like for me, you look at something like that and when sometimes there's business where it's a churn thing and you're just like, yeah, you want this thing. Sure. Like maybe it's not the right fit for you. But like I said, it is so personal. And on some level, it almost becomes moral in the sense of like, it is such a major purchase with these long-term, 30-year mortgages and things like that's a lifetime commitment,
it is.
And so you really need to make sure that you are taking care, or I think it's important to feel this way as a buyer and similarly as a provider to make sure that it really is the right situation.
Yeah. For me, it's more relational than transactional. I will admit, over the decade or so that I've seen here, it has gotten a bit more transactional. And I don't blame anyone for that. That's the environment. That's the financial situation that we're in. Every dollar matters. So yes, the interest rate does matter to a lot of people. But I always tell people the kind of truth behind the curtain is the lender can get whatever rate we need to get. So for me, it's not about the interest rate. I'm going to make the monthly payment what it needs to be so you're comfortable. And if there is a little bit of a cost to buy down an interest rate, we could talk about that. So when I'm doing a consultation, the rate is probably the last thing that I care about. I'm looking at how much money do you have? What are you comfortable spending on acquiring the home? Using some of those financial planning, ratios that are out there. What is that healthy debt? I'll tell you, it's not 50. It's like 36 to 38. So I will try to make sure that when I'm looking at my client's financial picture, I'm not just putting them in a right home for now. I'm putting them in a right home that still allows them to achieve all their other goals. How much do they want to save for retirement? Where are they thinking about legacy? Are they thinking about starting a family? Do they want another home? And these are a lot of things that a transactional loan originator probably doesn't look at. They get the application. They say, what's half their income? Let me jack up what their pre-approval is going to be. Here's your pre-approval letter. Have a good home search. Enjoy. I'd rather not do business that way. I want to make sure that I'm really taking care of the clients that I work with.
Yeah, so I'd love all of that. And what I'd love to do then is, because I feel like I have such a good picture of how you operate and how you like to go about it, is I want to know the guy a little bit more.
Sure.
So in your free time, you mentioned that before we got on the show, that you are involved in something called Civil Air Patrol?
Yes.
What on earth is Civil Air Patrol?
Civil Air Patrol is the United States Air Force's civilian auxiliary unit.
Okay.
It's been around since World War II. Actually, 1941. They used to fly missions to take pictures and gather intelligence. And since then, they've developed a robust cadet program, usually 12 to 21 years old. They have an aerospace education mission. They have an emergency services mission. In fact, nationally, Hawk Mountain Ranger School, which is kind of the national, like, teaches these cadets how to kind of live out in the woods for a while and go find downed airplanes and black boxes and all that kind of stuff. That's actually here in Pennsylvania. So
Wow.
we're very proud as the Pennsylvania wing. Each wing is a state, really. So PA Wing's really proud to have Hawk Mountain here. I got a lot out of it as a kid. I wanted to be in the Air Force. That was kind of my first career path. And I went to St. Joe's University here in the city for ROTC. Was medically disqualified for a food allergy to peanuts.
Wow.
You can believe that. And so that felt like a door closed, and that's when I got into finance and doing other things. But as an adult, I felt that call to kind of give back to that organization. And so now I'm the fitness education officer for a squadron out in Plymouth Meeting.
Wow.
And I go every month and I help kind of run the physical training for these cadets.
So interesting. So what does that training look like? What are the kinds of things that they have to do?
Push-ups, curl-ups, running,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards, but it's the education too. You know, how much water should they have? Sleep's important. Again, we are catering to teenagers, so it doesn't need to be super complex right now, but it's trying to instill in them good habits that as they get older, hopefully whether they go into the military or not, they take all these good habits and they're building healthy lives, and that means a lot to me.
Okay, so this is interesting because now we another layer's emerged. The fitness, nutrition, like where's that background? How do you end up doing that specific kind of work with Civil Air Patrol?
So it started when I was a teenager doing martial arts. So there is that kind of, I know we talked before the show about karate and Civil Air Patrol. They do almost kind of overlap.
Okay.
I had done that as a kid, and in high school, you can only do so much. I actually gave up training in Tung Sudo in order to do Civil Air Patrol as a cadet, and then got back into karate as an adult, and then eventually started doing Okinawan karate, which I do now. And then I went, I want to get back in Civil Air Patrol. So in a weird way, they always say, look to your childhood, right? For your, maybe your desires or goals or kind of the things that you forget about life.
Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting that at, now 40, I'm doing things that I did at 15 and really, really enjoyed, but now I'm doing them in a different way, and I'm able to give back both to the dojo and to this squadron as an adult leader. Right.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, that really is what it's about, right? What are these things on the most base level that you truly enjoy,
right,
and you've been able to connect with in different ways throughout your life, and you do lose that, but it is a way to, because I think you go through so many different things, starting businesses, changing jobs, like and I've been through all those things. It's like you do get so wrapped up in the moment, and you kind of lose. At least for me, I've had times where I kind of lose a sense of identity, or feels like a dulled sense of identity, and being able to go back to those things that you have familiarity with, it's like such a great way to, I don't know, recenter yourself.
It's energizing.
Yeah,
it really, really is.
Yeah, so I love that. Okay, you're such an interesting guy.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm thank you for signing up to be a part of the show.
Sure.
By the way, and by the way, you get to do this because you are a member at the club, and so for all of you, the fellow members at Pyramid Club, one, you can sign up to be a part of the show. That is in the show notes here, but also, for the best ways to connect with you, Jason, we will have that in the show notes, but please let the people know. Just say it outright. What's the best way to connect?
Sure. JasonVMadden.com is my website. Goes right to my Guild Mortgage site, where you can get some info about me. And if you'd like to work with me, apply for an online application. And Instagram and LinkedIn are probably my two main social medias of choice. So at JasonVMadden on Instagram, and look me up on LinkedIn. Use the V to find me. This way.
Yeah.
And love to connect with everybody here.
There you go. All right. Well, Jason, thanks for the time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.